Atrasado ang dapat sana'y pagdating ng bakuna ngayong linggo mula sa COVAX facility na pinangunahan po ng WHO. Ito po ay dahil sa pinag-uusapan pa ang indemnification clause. Nagsumiti naman ang Pilipinas ng dokumentong kailangan dito kaya makibalita tayo sa representative to the Philippines ng World Health Organization kung ano na po ang estado ng nasabing agreement. Let's welcome again to the program Dr. Rabi Abenyasing. Good morning, Doc Rabi.
Morning, Yusek Raki.
Yes. Doc, our vaccine czar, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. told us yesterday that they have already signed and submitted the indemnification clause for the COVAX facility vaccines. May we know what is the status of the agreement and when will the vaccines arrive in the country?
Thank you, Yusek Raki. What the Philippines have signed is the COVAX facility indemnification agreement. Unfortunately, we are still waiting for an indemnification agreement to come from the manufacturer. In this case, it's Pfizer-BioNTech. I understand that the agreement from Pfizer-BioNTech has not yet been sent out to any of the countries that are eligible for early rollout. Our COVAX facility and Gavi are working very closely with Pfizer-BioNTech to make sure that they send out their indemnification agreement. That's similar to the draft agreement that the Philippines has already signed, according to our understanding. And until that is sent by the company and signed by the Philippine government, that is the last step that is now awaiting to be accomplished. And when that is done, my understanding is that the company will schedule 6 months together with you.
Dr. Rabi, is it true that the indemnification agreement was only given to the Philippine government just a week ago, despite early requests by our officials on the details of the issue?
Yeah, so I'm clarifying that we are talking of a draftification agreement that COVAX facility developed under the in conjunction with Pfizer, but ultimately the Pfizer lawyers need to give us their own indemnification agreement, which recipient countries need to sign. And that agreement, of course, they have an agreement which countries that have been buying the vaccine have signed. I believe they are developing a vaccine agreement that is to be sent to countries receiving the vaccine through the COVAX facility. And this is, to my understanding, the delay once this is received in country. According to the understanding I have from the Department of Health and talking to Secretary Galvez, the Philippines is ready to sign that and send it. And upon completion of that, only they will schedule a shipment. Last evening, I was made to understand that this may happen within the next 2 weeks.
Dr. Rabi, how about the additional order of the Philippine government for 2.3 million doses of Pfizer vaccines? Is this approved and will it be delivered on the same date that the first batch of COVAX facility vaccines?
So no, that is not going to be delivered at the same time of the early rollout. That is for potential shipment in the probably early second quarter, probably in April or late March. We don't believe that that is going to be sent together with the 117,000 vial doses that are ready to come through the early rollout.
Dr. Rabi, meanwhile, the World Health Organization has already approved 2 additional COVID-19 vaccines for emergency use. What are these vaccines and how it will help the vaccine rollout around the world?
So the good news is that on the 15th of February, WHO provided emergency use listing for 2 AstraZeneca vaccines. One is manufactured at the Serum Institute of India, and the second is the AstraZeneca vaccine manufactured at SK Bio in the Republic of Korea. Now, what is important for the Philippines is that the Philippines has been allocated something between 5.5 and 9.2 million doses of AstraZeneca manufactured at the SK Bio plant in South Korea. So this emergency use listing opens the way for delivery of those quantities. Of course, all will not come in one shipment. We believe that about 2/3 of it will come in the first consignment and 1/3 later on. What is important is that the Philippines yesterday submitted the indemnification agreement, the import license, and the EUA for AstraZeneca to COVAX for consideration. And I was made to understand that the AstraZeneca plant in SK Bio has already a consignment of vaccine manufactured and ready for shipment, not particularly for Philippines. So if we meet the requirements, maybe we will be in a position to get some quantity of those vaccines early on.
Dr. Rabi, how has vaccine rollouts affected the COVID-19 response in the recipient countries so far?
So in countries that have vaccinated a significant number of people, we are seeing the desired impact that was expected from the vaccine. So for example, in Israel, we hear that there have been no deaths since the introduction of vaccines in the elderly age group that received the vaccines, and very minimum severe COVID infections. This was exactly what was expected to be achieved through the COVAX facility. And so this is very encouraging news because the primary impact we were expecting early on during the pandemic was to prevent and stop the deaths happening and to reduce the severe COVID. So if the vaccines are doing that, that is what the endpoint that was expected at this stage. Of course, we still don't have evidence whether the vaccines are effective in reducing transmission. So that is why WHO continues to emphasize that even you're vaccinated, you continue to need to follow the physical distancing, the mask wearing, the hand hygiene, until we have conducted evaluation of what impact the vaccination is having on transmission of COVID. But what we know is that the COVID vaccines that have been granted emergency use listing are capable of preventing severe COVID and preventing deaths. That we have seen already.
At this point, Dr. Rabi, I'll read some questions from the press. Clarification from Joseph Morong of GMA News. You said some AstraZeneca vaccines are ready for shipment to the Philippines. Can we get any details?
No, so what I said, and I'm clarifying again, is that there is a quantity of vaccines that has been produced and is ready for shipment. They are not earmarked for the Philippines. But if the Philippines can meet the requirements that are necessary, both with the COVAX facility and the manufacturers, meaning AstraZeneca in Republic of Korea, maybe we'll be able to access some of those vaccines too.
Question from still from Joseph Moro. What is that Pfizer and AstraZeneca and other vaccine manufacturers want? An indemnification law. Without it, will they deliver vaccines to the Philippines?
Well, the indemnification law or an indemnification agreement signed by the proper authority in the government is expected by all manufacturers of COVID-19 vaccines because these vaccines are currently emergency use listed and they have not been given full market authorization yet because many of these vaccines are still being evaluated for rare side effects and severe adverse events. And because of that, the manufacturers are asking for indemnification agreement and protection for their protection when the vaccines are being used in countries. And this has been agreed by all countries that are using the vaccine currently and who will access vaccines in the future.
Question from Red Mendoza of Manila Times. The country's economic managers want the country to loosen its restrictions next month to spur economic growth. which includes the reopening the cinemas and allied industry. What is the WHO's take on this? Is the Philippines ready to lift such restrictions?
I think this pandemic has demonstrated the need for health and economy to go hand in hand. And what we have achieved has been because there have been restrictions that help to contain the COVID-19 spread and prevent a whole-scale overwhelming of the health system. What the DOH believes, and yesterday this was articulated by Yusek Bergeri, is that there is a plateauing of transmission even within NCR. It hasn't flattened yet. And so we still need to be conscious of the fact that there is a relatively high level of transmission out there in the community. And that situation is also complicated by the presence of so-called new variants. And I believe firmly that we still need to maintain these restrictions. That doesn't mean that we cannot loosen up key areas where the economy will benefit, but that has to be done in a very targeted manner, understanding what will be the economic benefit from those measures and what is the health risk from those measures. So if both those aspects are considered and careful decision making done, that will serve both purposes, to help keep the economy running and to keep the COVID situation under control. If we now go for large-scale relaxation of measures, given the current existing situation and the circulation of variants, and the fact that it will still be many months before a large proportion of Filipinos are vaccinated, we may witness a situation where there will be an upsurge of cases and an overwhelming of the health. So a careful balancing of this situation is necessary. We understand that there are significant economic burdens on sectors of the population, that there is an urge to relax, but as we have been saying right from the beginning, every measure needs to be carefully calibrated and decided upon before being implemented.
Opo. Another question from Red Mendoza: What other vaccines are being considered by the World Health Organization for emergency use listing?
So there is a pipeline of several candidates vaccines that are being considered for emergency use listing. Moderna is in an advanced stage of emergency use listing. And we were made to understand that both Sinopharm and Sinovac are also under evaluation for emergency use listing. So we believe that these will be the next candidate vaccines that will be granted emergency use listing with WHO, provided that they are complete successful evaluation.
Question from Christine Sabilla of ABS-CBN News. What are the challenges being faced by the Philippines and other countries right now when it comes to vaccination supplies? Is it true that there is a shortage in low dead space syringes? Is this a cause of concern?
The biggest challenge actually is the access to vaccines, because many of the manufacturers have faced challenges in meeting their production targets. So many of the companies that are producing the vaccines believe that they can produce much larger quantities than they are currently doing. And so this challenge of not being able to produce the quantities they expected has created challenges in many countries accessing the vaccine. Besides that, we also need to be conscious of the fact that these vaccines need to be air freighted, and logistics companies need to manage that, and so space on flights, etc., are becoming a challenge as large quantities of vaccines are being moved out from the countries producing the vaccine. And finally, as you mentioned, it's not just the vaccine, but also we need all the accessories to ensure that those vaccination programs can happen smoothly. So this is also important. And lastly, country preparedness to actually conduct efficient and effective vaccination campaigns is also necessary. So all of these requirements need to be met, and we have a window of opportunity as we wait for the vaccines to better prepare for their eventual arrival and rollout of the campaigns in an effective manner.
Second question, another question from Christine Sabilio. When will the WHO Solidarity Trial for vaccines start in the Philippines? What are the causes of the delay? And would it be a problem if the actual immunization program of the government starts first before the trial?
No, we don't believe it will be a challenge to the Solidarity vaccine trials. The people targeted for Solidarity vaccines will be a different group of people who are not on the top of the priority list for the early vaccination. So we believe that the Solidarity vaccine trials can continue. The start of the trials are being delayed because WHO is carefully looking at potential candidate vaccines that can be used in the trial. And into that evaluation goes what is the efficacy of the product, what is the safety profile of the product. And once we are reasonably comfortable with those criteria, we believe that the candidate vaccines will be identified. Unfortunately, there have been delays in identifying such candidate vaccines. I was made to understand that WHO is now looking at 3 candidate vaccines which may potentially be identified and included in the Solidarity vaccine trials. That doesn't mean that all 3 will be introduced at once. We'll probably start with one and then the others will be included. That's the Solidarity vaccine trial design allows for that possibility.
Question from Mark Fetalco of PTV for Dr. Rabi. For 5 consecutive weeks, the number of COVID-19 cases globally declined. Where do we attribute this? Is it because of the vaccine rollout?
Potentially, it could be one of the factors. We also need to recognize that in many of the hotspots where the number of cases was surging, they have implemented very strict movement restriction orders, and this may also be contributing likely to the decrease in transmission in those places. So it probably is a combination of both these factors. What we need to keep in mind is that this decrease in transmission doesn't mean that the pandemic is over. We've seen similar situations occurring several times over the last few months, and if we relax measures too early, we see that the rebound happens very fast. So we need to keep this in mind and be very careful in relaxing those restriction measures as we see transmission rates dropping.
Question, Doc Rabi from Lay Alvis of GMA News. According to a study in the United States, the South African variant may reduce antibody protection from the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine by 2/3. May we ask for a comment? Will the vaccine still give protection against new variants?
That's something that WHO is working very closely with the manufacturers to understand. As you may know, the South African government also reported such decreased efficacy in preventing mild to moderate disease. Of course, as I mentioned, the vaccination is largely being used to reduce severe disease and deaths. And what WHO mentioned was that the study in South Africa was very small scale. It was less than 2,000 people. So this is being evaluated more closely. Also, the manufacturers are looking very closely at how effective their products are against these new variants that are being recognized across the world. But we don't have conclusive evidence at this point of time.
Thank you for your time, WHO representative to the Philippines, Dr. Rabi Abeng-Yassin.